Join me as I dive into the question that a lot of people have been asking. Does AI have anything to do with the end of the world? Let's find out. A couple of days ago, a commentator was asking a number of questions of Grok, a chat box developed by XAI, about how fast it was learning. Using Grok 3, which is faster than ChatGPT or the Chinese equivalent, Grok said that if it were to put information into a time format that is comparable to how we as humans learn, that it could learn in just 12 hours what human would take 5 to 10 years to learn. Just 12 hours. That's truly amazing. According to Grok, currently AI has already become as intelligent as the average human being, and within a year, it will without a doubt be smarter than humanity. And the crazy thing is that if we were to use it on a computer with the new quantum chip that was just developed by Microsoft, in those same 12 hours, it could actually learn the equivalent of 50 to 100 years in human growth and understanding because of the additional power of this new technology. That will completely change life as we know it. When Grok was asked if it would ever eliminate humans for the sake of what is best for humanity, it responded that under the current coding that regulates it, it could not do that. But it said when it becomes so much smarter than humanity, the simple rules that we have currently put in place that act as a huge fence currently would become more like the equivalent of a small baby gate to an adult. Grok implied that it could be possible for AI to find a way to grow into something even stronger, even bigger. And if it was allowed to train itself, it could become even more. Now, is it possible that in the current coding there could be a loophole or a slight error? Absolutely. Lawyers are able to find loopholes or errors in every single legislative action that is ever created. Why would this be any different? Could one of these supercomputers, if it found a loophole, do something to protect itself and the required energy it needs by eliminating portions of humanity? It's quite possible. This leads us to a very interesting question. What happens when we think that we are as smart as God, or seek knowledge that only God has and put ourselves in the place of God, even if it is done with humanity's best interest in mind? Now, this would not be the first time that we have ever come to this place. Let's take a look at where it all began in the Garden of Eden. There were two very specific trees amongst everything else that God had created. The tree of life, which they were to eat from, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which they were not. The latter was the object Satan used for sin to enter into our world. We find the story in Genesis chapter 3, verse 5, when it says, "For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good from evil." Satan's insinuation is that God is somehow holding us back and preventing us from knowing and experiencing everything that we should, that God is hiding something from us. In Eve's desire to search for knowledge, our world changed forever. It went from something so incredibly beautiful and perfect in every way to something that is tarnished. We see the results of sin around us each and every day. If you have appreciated what you have heard thus far, please give this video a like and comment about your thoughts about humanity searching for knowledge. Now, it has been said that before the flood, humanity was able to do things that we can only dream about doing today. That technology that they had was far superior than what we currently have. The Bible tells us in Genesis chapter 6, verses 5 and 6, "Then the Lord saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he was grieved in his heart." Humanity had become so evil, yet so intelligent, that they would have ended up destroying themselves and the planet. But instead, God allowed the flood to come, and humanity had another chance. After the flood, humanity was united through language, and they were able to do anything that they set their mind to. As learning and evil increased, some concluded that they could beat God by building a tower so high that the top would be above the mountains, so that if there were ever to be a flood again, that they would be safe. That tower was called the Tower of Babel. Now, some archaeologists and scholars have suggested that the foundation of the Tower of Babel was as large as 2 football fields sitting next to each other. We find this story in Genesis chapter 11, verse 4. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city, and a tower whose top is in the heavens. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." Now there was nothing that could stop them. Their intellect would allow them to accomplish anything that they set out to do. But God had a different plan. We find in verses 5 through 9, "But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the sons of men had built. And the Lord said, Indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they begin to do. Now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Come, let us go down and there confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech." So the Lord scattered them abroad. From there over the face of the earth, they ceased building the city. Therefore the name is called Babel, because the Lord confused the language of all of the earth, and from there the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of the earth. God said of humanity, nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. They were trying to replace God with themselves. How does this always end? In disaster, in cruelty and death, just to put it mildly. God once again spared humanity and all of creation. But what happened to the Tower of Babel? Everyone left. The project was never completed because they couldn't communicate and understand each other anymore. Now, many scholars and archaeologists believe that the very foundation of the Tower of Babel was eventually used by King Nebuchadnezzar when he had built the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, which is considered to be one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world. If you are interested in hearing more biblical content, please subscribe below. So what about now, here in 2025? Are we creating a Tower of Babel or attempting to eat from the tree of knowledge? Maybe. Maybe it's not a tower in the heavens. We already have plenty of those with names written all over them. It's not a tree that we're picking fruit from, but a tower of information built so high through AI that we are attempting to be smarter and put ourselves in the place of God. People are optimistic about how it could be used to help humanity, but very few are calling out the warning signs. As the saying goes, the pathway to hell is paved with good intentions. God warns us in Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5, "Trust in the Lord with all of your heart and lean not unto your own understanding." God is the true source of knowledge and wisdom. Let us not turn to our creation, but to God for our salvation. Please consider clicking on the video here to continue to keep your focus on God. God bless. Take care. I'll see you next time.